to Healing with Human Connection, where we have encouraging conversations about tough topics such as substance abuse, drug addiction, and mental health issues for those in the Northwest Indiana area. Our hope is to share information that will guide you to resources that can help you change your life so that you can live the life you were meant to live. Check out our website, www.healingwithconnection.com, to find a full transcript of today's conversation, along with a list of any resources or links mentioned in this episode. Enjoy the show!
Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to be here for our second show. Our group is called Healing with Human Connection. And of course, we're so excited that you're joining us. I'm Jeanne. I'm a licensed clinical therapist and life coach. We have Miss Lisa Scheller, who's an author, yay! And a health recovery coach. Yes. And Stacey Garcelon, who is a therapist, and Anamakara, which is horse healing the human soul, which is a lot of words, but it is fascinating work that Stacey does. Our goal overall is really to bring all of you healing information about areas as far as physical, emotional, and spiritual health. And we have very interesting, if you ask me, experience and work in the area of helping others with these issues. Topics would include substance abuse, information, recovery, emotional challenges, depression, anxiety, relationship issues, and all topics related to that. Last week was our first show. It gave you a little bit of information about our mission. And this show, we are going to spotlight Miss Lisa. And the next show, Stacey will be on, so you can find out a little bit of history about us. And we'll give a little bit of background in the reason we do what we do. I guess Miss Lisa will get started. So yes. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Yes. And of course, Miss Megan behind the scenes making this all happen. Thank you. But Lisa, why don't you go ahead and get started and tell us a little bit about you?
Absolutely. As Jeanne had mentioned, we're very excited that this is our second episode of Healing with Human Connection. Yeah, yay! And this is all brought together because, as Jeanne had mentioned, we all have this common goal of making sure that we get resources out to people who are struggling and lift the stigma about addiction and mental health and recovery, and that there are resources available for people. I grew up in St. Cloud, Minnesota. That's about 500 miles from here, and I came to the Valparaiso, Indiana area about 24 years ago. Never thought I'd live in Indiana, and here I am. I live in Chesterton, and my husband Hans, and then we have two daughters, Hannah, who's 22, and Delaney, who's 19. Hannah just graduated from Valparaiso University, and Delaney's going to be a junior at Valparaiso and studying psychology. We have three dogs, Ollie and Penelope and Posey. So, yes. So, anyways, but I've been in the nonprofit world for over 35 years. Went to school at Mankato State, went into social work. Didn't get my master's in social work, but have had the opportunity to work for some amazing organizations such as the Boys and Girls Club, Hawaii, Junior Achievement, and Doombrook. I've done development and fundraising, and it's a passion of mine to help organizations that can help others that are struggling or that just need a little bit of extra. So all those organizations have been very passionate to me over, let's say, maybe 15, 20 years as I've been married to Hans. We'll be married 23 years in July. He is a recovering alcoholic, and our family struggled through alcoholism, and came to realize during that time is that it is a family disease. It's just not affecting the addict. We're all affected by it. So we went through the whole shebang about his recovery, and our family is still intact today. Very thankful to many people, our village of people, and many people standing in the gap and just helping us all try to find out where our boundaries are and how we can help each other. Now he's been recovered for about 7 years, and he's a recovery coach for Recovery Connections. And I recently have received my certification in family recovery. I want to help families who are on the other side of the addict. We are concerned about the addict and them getting the help that they need, but don't realize that also the family has been affected, or the families and friends and the other people that are a part of their lives. So that is my goal, is to just be there as a friend, a partner, somebody to walk alongside. And then that's how this podcast came along. If we come together as a village, we can provide that information, educate people.
Right. And Lisa, can I just say, when you talk about it being a family issue,
yes,
for those listening, Lisa does a wonderful job of talking about the different roles of family in the addiction world.
Yes.
And sometimes we think it's just the person struggling with the addiction, but how it is a family issue. I just thank you for talking about that.
Yeah. And one of the things I just want to mention as we're going forward during this time, as we're preparing for this, our family for the past 3 years have put a book together, and it's called From Fear to Faith. And we just got hot off the press. And it is really about a family's journey with addiction, recovery, and grace. Again, coming to terms with the addiction, understanding the addiction, and getting the help that you need. Then also grace. Grace is not just giving somebody grace in your family, but other people giving you grace. And where does grace come from? It has been definitely a family journey. It's not a destination. It's a journey. Every day is a recovery process. You get up in the morning and it's just one day at a time. Sometimes for some people it's half a day because the stresses in life and the different things that we all have to face, and how do we juggle that?
So it's not a quick fix.
It's not a quick fix.
It is day to day, and sometimes there's relapses, and to accept that there's relapses makes success stronger.
Exactly.
Right, Lisa?
Yeah, exactly. You're building tools, and we're not all born with those tools in our back pocket. We all learn how to deal with things the way our families have learned to deal with things. And I like to tell the story about coming from Minnesota and then coming here to the Boys and Girls Club, meeting Hans. Hans is a German. He came here when he was 3. His parents came here. All they knew is what they knew back in Germany. If you know the Germans, they like their beer and they like their drinking. And that's what you're accustomed to. That was totally out of my realm because that's not how I grew up. I just looked at it as like a social drinking. But then now looking back on it, I was like, wow, that was really how they handled things, And that doesn't make it that Hans was a bad person. No. He just didn't know how to deal with the things that he was not taught how to do. It's kind of like retraining your brain to get in the toolbox of how am I going to take care of these things without just going out and drinking.
So other options of coping.
Yes.
And when, as you say, Lisa, when you're used to coping with a certain way, it's very difficult to even think that there's another way.
Exactly. It's retraining your mind. And with him, it was like him going back in time and dealing with frustrations from the past, but not really dealing with what was going on today. I like to tell the story, and I tell this in the book, is that moving here 23 years ago, I didn't come here thinking I'm going to meet him and we're going to get married and I'm going to be married to an alcoholic. That's not how you look at life. But over time, things build up. You have children and you have jobs and you have this and that, and you think to yourself, we can handle this. Everybody else seems to be handling this. Then different things happen, and we all deal with stress differently. So
there's grace in that statement too.
Yes.
Right? We all deal with stress differently.
We all do. Mm-hmm. And I'm thankful for people like Stacey and Jeanne who have the expertise to be therapists for those who are struggling, because back when we were going through this, nobody really pointed us in the right direction. And I would say this journey 15 years ago was like, well, where do you go for help? If you've never walked that road before, how do you know that's a good place to go for recovery? How do you know that? And how do you know who to trust? And as we've all had to go through the pandemic, realizing this problem is not going to go away, it's probably getting worse. What can we do as a community to help people get the help that they do need?
Thank you, Lisa. And there are so many ways to get help. Lisa knows that, Stacey knows that, but the average person doesn't know that there are many different ways, depending upon your personality and the situation. Sometimes people think it costs a lot. Well, there are some ways it don't cost.
And find your people. 20 years ago, maybe only half my friends are still the friends who I used to have, but we've met a lot of great people along the journey who have suffered through or who had to deal with the addiction and different things. We learn from them and their experiences.
Right.
So if we can all learn from each other's experiences, what worked, what didn't work, but what worked for us may not work for somebody else. I was doing a little bit of research in regards to this, that over 46% of families are affected by substance abuse, if not more. That number is probably a lot higher now.
Yes.
Yeah. And that it's really important that we understand that it's not just a journey that you travel alone. I think when you have these diseases that you just want to hide by yourself, if you surround yourself by people, you can get the help that you do need.
Right.
And that addiction impacts more than just the individual struggling with the addiction. So again, back to the family and the friends and in this workplace, that addiction often disrupts family systems that also need to be repaired. A lot of times we think, well, if we can get that addict help, we'll be okay.
We're fine.
But we're not okay because we have also been an enabler. I didn't realize, because I'm a social worker, I want to take care of it. I want to fix it. I want to make it better, And I was an enabler. And I've had to learn to not enable behavior of people who are able to do their things.
That takes a lot of work
Yes.
on your part, right, Lisa?
And recognition.
Yeah. Well, to see how should we deal with it, and we all play different roles.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then we talk about mental health. And alcohol abuse or substance abuse is a part of the mental health that many people suffer from. And Stacey probably has different numbers than you do, but like 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 3 people have a mental health issue. But we need to be able to turn to people and somebody that they can trust, that can help guide them along on the right path. And meeting with a therapist. I know both Stacey and Jeanne, they both will meet with somebody and do a free consultation. And if they're not the right fit, they will pass them on to somebody else. So it takes people collaborating and partnering together. And just embracing that it is lifelong learning, that we can always learn along the journey. And that's what we're here for.
Lisa, thank you so much. Thank you
for
so
that
much.
courage and bravery and sharing your story. That's really, really powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, and I just, deep in my heart, going through it, I know I was just like, oh my gosh, am I alone? Then I realized I was not alone. I had to wrap my mind around the fact that it's okay and I can trust other people. And I don't want people to have to feel like they have to walk alone, because it's a very scary feeling.
Right. It is very scary, but sometimes we have to reach out, as you say, Lisa, and get help because we can't see the forest through the trees ourselves.
Yes, that's a great example.
You think you're intelligent,
Yes.
the person who's using is intelligent, we love each other, why can't we fix this?
Yes.
Well, it's so complicated.
My best thinking
Yeah.
got me here. I'm doing the best I can with what I
Right.
have, and I'm still here.
Right.
So it doesn't make me any less smart. We need each other. Different viewpoints, different perspectives, and holding space for one another to honor that pain, try to fix it, to just honor it.
Yeah.
When I was going through this with Hans, I went to an Al-Anon meeting and I said, you can't control it, you can't cure it, you can contribute to it. You didn't cause it, but you can be a contributor. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a contributor because I'm enabling it. I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to make it go away. I'm trying to cure it. I'm thinking that I have all the right answers. Well, I didn't have the answers. I didn't even know what I was up against.
And that's not because you're not an intelligent person,
No.
it's because you just don't know.
Exactly.
Right.
I can't be the expert in Jeanne, and I can't be the expert in you, but I can be the expert in me.
Yes.
Right? And then I can learn from others, right? So I can't fix anybody else.
Yeah. Lisa, thank you very much. My
absolutely.
gosh.
And this is going to be a great journey along this road with Jeanne and Stacey and
Right.
Megan and all our great future speakers to help us all. I know it's one of those things where people like it's daunting, but at the same time, it's how we look at it and how, we can help remove that stigma that it's out there, and what is it we're going to do to be a part of the solution and not the problem.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Yourself, have a great week.
If you enjoyed today's episode, let us know by leaving a comment or review and sharing with a friend. All resources mentioned today and a full transcript of this episode can be found by going to our website, www.healingwithconnection.com. A video of this recording can be found on our YouTube channel, and the audio podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Healing with Connection is a collaborative project created by Lisa Scheller, Jeanne and Stacey Garcelon, produced and edited by Megan Swartz.